Ling in that regards. By doing so, it kind of opens up a lot of options when it comes to the opening bans when you have a specific pro Fanny or pro Ling player in this regard. So let's take a look at the drafts right now. Without further ado, the first match of the day, and this is gonna be drafts. Let's take a look at how the opening is, and it is gonna be the Akai coming from RSG and the 1-1 from TODAK.
Fair enough, fair enough. Standard bans here by RSGMY and as well as TODAK. I definitely understand where the 1-1 is coming from. RSGMY making sure that Rival isn't going to get his hands on the Akai so far. Don't want that powerful flex pick, and I think a lot of teams still appreciate the fact that Akai, with that heavy spin, can lock multiple members, whether it's disengage or re-engaging into these fights. I do hope they continue to go down this route of just banning out the junglers to make sure we can really see how far they can push Rival.
Yeah, and RSG, they do have the tendency to actually play a little bit more aggressive to a certain degree, but with Ling Aza the picture, based on his track record, he doesn't really join fights rather early until like maybe into the later stage game, 12 minutes mark, etc. And TODAK, they are known to punish this kind of aggression. They're always in your face, and they are very, very comfortable in with this kind of invade. So RSG, they may need to look for a composition where kind of it protects them. In this case, Faramis doesn't exactly suit this composition for RSGMY just because of how it's more mid-game style oriented rather than a little bit of an early aggression, which is kind of against Ling Aza's nature of his playstyle?
Well, let's see. Maybe things have changed for him. We haven't seen Ling Aza too much this season anyway, so hopefully we do get to see maybe a new evolution of Ling Aza, whether or not he is going to be integrated well with the rest of the RSG members, and whether or not, more importantly, he can be that aggressive style of jungler. Fanny gets banned out for the side of TODAK as RSG reply with the Masha. They hold priority right now, so again, Valentina still up for grabs.
This is going to be a very, very questionable one, because knowing TODAK, they do have the tendency to lean on the Ling for Rival, and RSGMY, I don't think they will want to first pick and lock the Ling and risk potentially being countered right from the get-go. We've seen in the past, especially from MSC, Saber as a great way to deal with Ling. We've seen Kufra as well coming from Yumski. We've seen Franco as a way to deal with Cho as well in particular. So in this case, TODAK is in a comfortable position where they can let the Ling slide. It's okay. We have ways. We've played against Ling before in Season 9, in Season 8 before. So in this case, it's not really much of a deal, but RSGMY making the option to actually ban off the Phoveus themselves. So could we potentially see a Benedetta?
Well, I do think this is a bit of a tell here. And TODAK, they see, okay, Phoveus gets banned out. Looks like RSGMY wants to play a composition that has a good number of dashes here. And TODAK don't have first pick, right? Valentina should be the ban, but if they let it through, if they do let it through, they have to kind of minimize their composition in terms of what kind of ultimates are you giving over to RSGMY. Is it going to be teamfight orientated? Is it going to be more of a go wide strategy and look for different potholes to actually fish out some gold to even the score? Let's see where TODAK goes in for these last 7 seconds.
I think it's better to just straight up ban the Valentina and just give it to them, and they would prioritize either the Julian or the Faramis for themselves, because if they let the Valentina through, regardless of what they do, RSG, all they gotta do is just pick the Valentina, and if TODAK picks the Julian as well as the Faramis, that's a big, big skills that Valentina can offset with. So great call coming from TODAK. RSGMY now, on the other hand, do they play it safe? Julian or Faramis? Pick your poison. And TODAK, I don't think they really care about this meta, and knowing them, they do have the tendency to kind of lean off meta and make a non-meta the meta comp for themselves.
It looks like Faramis once again going to be the first pick for RSGMY. It's pretty consistent for a lot of teams here, picking up the Faramis. Even though it only has a 25% win rate so far, it has a lot of value. I do think that Malaysian teams are still trying to figure out the full scale of how to deal with and also play with the Faramis. But let's see what TODAK have in store for them. With now 2 picks on their side, they can go for the Julian if they want to. They can opt to go for something else. The fact that Phoveus is in there, Benedetta, again, Ling, so many good picks. Beatrix going to get locked in. Ling going to be the next lock-in for TODAK. Standard picks for the TODAK squad.
Yeah, comfort picks coming from TODAK, but at the same time, Faramis has been recently been nerfed in terms of the Cult Altar as well, where the HP bar is not as thick as it used to be. And I feel like in this kind of situation, it can kind of mess up your entire chain CC as well, especially like, let's say you go for a Franco and you're in the Cult Altar and you're going for a bite, but because the Cult Altar's HP bar is there, you are going to get suppressed and immediately cancel out your skills. So it will offset your skills by a half a second, and it can kind of act like as a deterrence to your own self as a kid. Kind of similar like to how Ruby's second skill is in a team fight in general. So taking advantage of those combos is great, but at the same time, if you are going for that long channeling play style of a composition, it is going to completely mess up your comp. And I understand why the win rate is that low coming from Faramis.
Yep, and now coming in Popo and Kuba, as well as the Paquito gets locked in for the side of RSGMY. But coming back to your point on the farm is, it works both ways, right? I mean, if there's big channels coming in from TODAK Beatrix, for an example, and Ibira's Passion, if you end up dying in the Cult Altar, by the time you come back up, it's already done for.
Yeah.
And then maybe you could possibly get Momo to go out of position to use Wesker, and that gives you an opportunity to jump back into it. TODAK, however, very smartly take the Esmeralda, knowing that there's an opportunity to punish the EXP lane. They ban out the Dairoth to ensure the counter matchup is gone. TODAK currently passing priority to RSGMY.
Yeah, it feels like RSGMY is not really worried about this, but at the same time, it feels like HYHY is forced to play the Cho just to deal with the Link as well as the Esmeralda to a certain degree. In terms of winning up the lane matchup, it's not exactly ideal for him, but they need some sort of cash potential to deal with this lane. Eventually, when it comes to split push potential, we know Rival has been able to capitalize a lot on this kind of situation. So in this case, I feel like RGMY, they put themselves in a spot where they want to force a 5v5 fight, whereas TODAK, they have options to kind of lean back out of a 5v5 fight and just completely dodge it in the get-go. So in this case, it seems like RGMY, they need to go for this aggressive composition. They need to go play around Ling Aza, but it feels like based on the hero pool that I've seen in the past, Ling Aza might be playing this as a Paquito jungle.
Oh, well, I wouldn't be too surprised if it's a Paquito jungle. I don't think Paquito into Esmeralda is as good of a matchup as it used to be, now that they've kind of like, well, over multiple patches, reduced the power of Paquito. That Frostmoon Shield really tanks a lot of damage, and unfortunately for RSGMY, TODAK do decide to ban out the Atlas. So they lose a lot of team fighting strength, but there are still other options. RSGMY reply with getting rid of Yve, as well as Sicilion, ensuring that mages are going to get cut as soon as possible. With that first pick, it feels like TODAK needs to get lock in a mage right now. Julian's not bad. I was thinking Lilia might have been a little bit better in this situation, but with Julian, the enhanced chains is going to be really powerful to ensure that even if they are trying to press forward, if it's in lane, the enhanced chains covers a large amount of the mid lane. RSGMY locking in the Karina as well as the Franco. We wanted to see Link Aza, instead of power farming, be aggressive. Karina is that style and very safe mage assassin that can do that.
Yeah, I like the Franco composition as well, and going for the Bloody Hunt is going to be able to lock down the Ling, but this is still going to be quite a question. One wrong Cult Altar is going to completely offset the combo, and they are the pros, so it is going to be very, very crucial that their timing needs to be very, very spot on. If the timing is off, it will mess up the entire team fight. So TODAK, I was hoping that TODAK was going to get the Franco, but it seems like TODAK, they will settle with the Lolita. We've seen this happen before after their loss in the SEA Games against Blacklist. So it makes a lot of sense that Lolita is a tank that is very, very important when it comes to team play. So I'm looking forward to see how it goes and how are they going to execute, because ladies and gentlemen, the drafts are set, the crowds are cheering, and we are going to be going in towards game number 1.
This is going to be a good showing here. Coming in from TODAK, I mean, their composition straight up. They have good disengage, they have great scaling, they have some very clear combos. However, when you're looking at RSG's lineup, it's all about the timings, right? It's very responsive to what TODAK wants to do. So once again, let's have a recap of the compositions with RSG looking for some big combinations to pick off their opponents and eventually crush them by the mid game. If you look at TODAK, great curve here from early to mid to late. The team fighting is going to be top notch, and if it makes it to the late game, they have so much scaling to work with them. It's time for the first best of 3 here this Saturday as we enter the land of Dawn.
Well, week 3, day number 2, ladies and gentlemen. TODAK versus RSG up on screen, and this is going to be a very, very interesting one because Ling Aza going to be playing on the Karina, dictating the tempo in early stage of the game and snowballing the fight. So if they can get the snowball up and running, that is going to put a dent into its TODAK's composition. But if they don't, things aren't looking too good for RSG's late game potential.
Yep. Actually, interesting that Moon is willing to sacrifice a little bit of EXP in the mid lane to ensure that Rival isn't going to get slowed down in the jungle. Hawk, unfortunately, couldn't do much about that as Izanami hovers around the area to fight for the Lethal Wanderer. Chains don't land. Looks like this Lethal Wanderer falls into the hands of TODAK. The Iron Hook lands, but honestly, there's no guarantee of a kill. Top side, probably going to be in Formace's favor considering where he's standing. Bottom side, it's a 50-50 here. Popo and Koopa, there's a lot of times where you see Popo and Koopa, it's like, yeah, technically he should be winning the matchup, but with a couple of good shots from a Beatrix, that could turn around very quickly.
Yeah, let's take a look at the emblems real quick. Nothing out of the ordinary, pretty standard coming from both sides, except for both the marksmen going for Weapon Master, where there is going to be a little bit of a difference when it comes to priority, because right now our Momo is going to get dived on, but the hook doesn't connect.
Without that hook, can't do much about it, but Moon unfortunately giving him first blood. Izanami now in some trouble here as the Blade of Tempest comes on through. His rival finds the trade. They back off, and this is a good 1-for-1 for either side here. Both mages paying the price.
Yeah, and I was expecting RSGMI to get a little bit more out of that, but that's the thing about the mages in general, right? Julian isn't exactly the most strongest mage when it comes to wave clears, but Faramis is not exactly in the same boat as well as compared, like you said as well. A Lilia would have been better when it comes to wave clear, lane control, and rotations, or maybe even a Yve and to a certain degree, but Yve was banned in the drafting stage. So this is going to be helping RSGMI set up for the turtle, and it seems like TODAK, they are going to be having their backs against the walls once again. Lilios, however, on the bottom, a little bit too low to be called comfort.
Link is already finding the first turtle of the game as Formace is going to be running down HY. HY needs to stay as healthy as possible here. He's got to get ready for the next upcoming fight, and he can't afford to lose pressure as Moon looks to take an ambush angle here onto HY. He's not going to fall for it. He's not going to take a trade, especially against an Esmeralda. He's going to go in and out of a fight like a true boxer.
Well, seems like that is not going to be the case because HY is taking a little bit too much, and he's going to be forced to go back. And 4Maze will get the full gold plating. Rivals is going to be extending it, hoping to get the pick off the bush. So great game sense coming from HY. But that is going to completely delay his return from the base.
Impatience coming in from HY. However, RSG holding on position. Momo is aware that something is going on here. There is a missing support. There is also a missing mid laner. They've got to be somewhere. As they start appearing down, here comes the Numenon Blast to try to protect his Beatrix. Momo manages to get out as the Cult Altar comes through. But unfortunately, Nibiru's Passion ain't going to do too much. His rival, the Cavalry, is here. Izanami's on the run. The Iron Hook lands. Blade of Tempest to get back out. Almost a kill, but not enough. Enhanced Sword. Moon runs away from Link Eza. Is he going to walk in? No. It's a little too late. All the low members have disengaged.
Yo, that is something that I did not expect. Yumski completely saved that fight for TODAK. However, they will lose the lane, but the hook comes in. He's going to be A-okay, but he gets pulled back by the Faramis. And here he comes. Link Eza gets the kill on Yumski, and that's going to be RSG taking full control of the early stage right now.
Yumski sacrificing his life, ensuring that the kill reset isn't going to affect Momo. Now they have to take away this purple buff. Enhanced Chains is going to land. Nibiru's Passion gets blown through. Lolios is kind of low here, but Rival, can he get the purple buff in time? No. Uses it a bit earlier, but Lolios might have to pay the price. Rival dashes over. Unfortunately, it is too much damage for him to handle. Rival goes down, and Hawk takes the trade.
Oh, that is so unfortunate. If he got the purple buff, he might have had a little bit more energy to extend that fight. Taking that risky play is going to put TODAK back against the wall, but Yumski now looking for the Luminous Blast. He sets it up, but no! Momo side damage, but no, wait a minute! Yumski, he still got the steal!
Yep, Link Eza still doesn't have his Retribution up, and they ended up losing a top tier 1 at the same time. Lolio's looking to recover from the EXP lost. However, but looking at HY, he's in a lot of trouble. Forced to flicker on out of there. Wesker deals way too much, and he can't afford to take a death here so early on in the game.
Yo, that was so risky. The Numenon Blast looks good, sets up for the snipe to actually take the turtle, but it's just 1 HP away. And fortunate for Yumski, the beauty about a Lolita's first skill is that it does a lot of damage on creep. So for him to steal it is not that hard, but still, pulling it off, not exactly an easy thing to do.
I mean, it's just good comps coming in from TODAK. They are aware that he doesn't have his Retribution up in time. Formace, using the Falling Star Moon. He has no way to get on out of there. He has to use his sprint. Battle Spell already blown. However, bottom tier 2 will fall as TODAK once again playing for the wide strategy. 3v5 here. Numenon Blast coming on through. Unfortunately for Moon, he's going to be going down. Not enough damage to actually save the day, but Rival might be here to clean up the mess. Hawk is so low, but Yumski ends up dying. Rival backs away, unable to finish off the kills, unable to finish the cleanup.
Oh, this is just beautiful work coming from RSGMY. They take advantage that Rival doesn't have a purple buff. They know that he can't go absolutely crazy. He can't exactly split push too quickly as well, just because he doesn't have those energy stacks. And you can see it is starting to hurt TODAK. However, despite all this chaotic win fights that team fights that RSG is winning, TODAK has been able to trade ahead in terms of economy.
Yeah, I mean, they're sacrificing bodies in for the sake of turrets, right? Mid turret could get absolutely shoved in there, and that's what RSGMY was willing to do. So TODAK decided to throw their bodies into the fire, see what they can get out of it. They were very close to getting bottom tier 2. However, they cannot afford to risk Momo. So Momo is going to be a bit of a liability if he's by himself. And the enhanced chains already come out. The Iron Hook comes through from Hawk. The Bruce Passion is already used, but not enough damage has been done as the Called Altar protects everybody from sweet, sweet death. Moon pays the price once more, but look at top and bottom tier 2s will be falling real soon. Linkeza wants to take out Rival, but Rival doesn't care. He's just going to hold on. Pinch Voice to get out of this tight situation. Shadow Stampede to chase him down, but Formace already leashing the orange buff to speed this up. Next turtle falls in the hand of RSG.
Yep, RSG, they need to snowball a little bit harder, but I can see the setups that TODAK is actually doing, right? They're taking away all these objectives on the sides, opening up the map, but if the Lord comes in and they have more room to work with if they want to go for a little bit more aggression. And this is going to help them set up for a good fight. All they need is this one big team fight, and RSG has no retreat point, especially when the fight happens in the Lord Pit.
Exactly. I mean, they have 2 sprints to work with. They've got Rival playing on his comfort pick of Ling, who's really great at chasing people to the ends of the earth. And the gold lead is still in TODAK's favor, despite the number of kills that RSGMY is willing to get.
Yep. Speaking of itemizations as well, we do see Linkeza still going for the damage build, not going for the traditional tanky playstyle, which is kind of off meta now. And RSG, they're struggling to clear the minions, and on the bottom side, hold on, they're just going to try and breach tier 3, and the rest of RSGMY, I don't think they can trade efficiently, but at the same time, minions, not going to be enough. So that is going to be the tier 2 potentially down from the side of RSGMY up top, and it is going to get taken now.
Yep, Popo and Koopa speeding things up here. No enhanced chains now, as the rest of the team is pressing their advantage here. TODAK understand, hey, we're trying our best to try and pull attention away from RSG, but now they flicker on for the Bloody Hunt, going to be landing on towards Formace's side. It's going to be huge chains as they already find, but the Cult Altar is down. Numenon Blast hits all 4 members, but it really doesn't matter. TODAK is just waiting out the clock. Izanami ends up dying to Ling. Rival still lives with the help of Yumski, but Momo in trouble as HY chases, unable to finish off the kill, misses the KO strike, and TODAK walk away with HY skull.
Oh, this is so hurtful for RSGMY. If HY survived that, or maybe even got a kill, they could have scaled into a Lord Pit immediately, but because he lived, this puts TODAK in a situation where they can still contest, and you can see the struggles that they have to go through. They've got the CCs, they've got the AoE, but the Cult Altar completely stops them in track every single time, and Moon is in a position where he can't exactly set up for the team because of how the nature of Julian's going to be playing in the team fights. And once the Cult Altar comes in, none of his combo matters until the Cult Altar comes down.
Truly, it truly doesn't. And I think that TODAK understands the strength of the Cult Altar as well. But now, look at the way that they're playing. They're looking to crack open this tier 2. They're willing to give away the first Lord to RSGMY, knowing that it's not Luminous just yet. They need to back off here, but instead the Cult Altar is present. It's going to be Yumski, the first to go down. Momo's in trouble as Linkeza, HY get on top of him. Rival tries to attack the backline, but it's too late. Now Formace in trouble. They try to run away. Julian ends up falling to Linkeza, and Formace the next to fall. This could be it for RSGMY. If they can crack open into here, inhibitor turret. This game has been cracked wide open for RSG.
Yep, RSG looking stronger than ever, and TODAK can't exactly do anything about the Count Altar, and that's the downside of their composition, right? They need to take those engagements, and if they do not take it and play counter defensive, RGMY is going to completely walk over the park just because of how much sustain they have.
RSG decide to take a quick buck here with the mid tier 1 as well as tier 2. However, they do mess up a little bit of their synchronization of the waves, which is actually a little bit better for TODAK's side. When we're talking about wave clear, I don't think they have the greatest wave clear in comparison to RSG MY. Unfortunately, they do have to walk up a little closer than they would like to be. And with the threat of that Iron Hook coming in from Hawks Franco, it could be scary stuff.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be scary as well. The biggest question and threat as well is going to be Ling Aza 8-0-2. And knowing that he can go for those Shadow Dance, TODAK don't exactly have the burst potential which we used to see in this traditional mage compositions. Julian has been oftentimes getting punished and jumped on time and time again. Moon hasn't been able to do what Moon does best throughout the entirety of this game just because of how the Count Altar, the Bloody Oath just completely marks him. And every single time RSG, they start a fight, they always prioritize and taking Moon out first before focusing on the rest, knowing that Momo, Rival, and also Yumskis is not going to be able to do too much against the Karina.
I mean, the temp HP coming in from the Call Altar just kind of says it all, right? I mean, Link is, he sees, oh, a melee character who uses all of his spells and then has to wait for the cooldowns. We can look to punish Moon as much as we can. HYHY going to be starting off that fight, but they immediately find their pick on towards Esmeralda's side. Numenon Blast comes on through as well. Call Altar breaking for 2 of their members as Yumski tries to hold on strong, puts up the Guardian's Bulwark, but still dies at the end to the Shadow Dance as they run on for Farm is able to find Julian as well. A 3-for-0 trade for RSGMY.
Oh, this is dirty coming from RSGMY. They've got the Winter Trunken suppressed as well just now. TODAK just completely can't do anything about this. This is a complete outdraft, and RSG, they're going for the Swamp Momo. They get the shot in, but at the same time, what can they do? And that is going to be a wipeout, and RSGMY might be taking game 1, but Formace is trying best to defend. I think this might be it. Wait a minute. They've got the minion clear, and they somehow defend against this. It's not over yet.
What a huge turnaround for TODAK's side. Unfortunately, the minion spawn pushing it out. They did not finish it in time, and that's going to be a complete wipeout. TODAK come back from the brink of just losing the game.
Yo, that was so risky, but TODAK, they somehow pulled it off, but it's still going to be a very, very difficult one. Rival is going to be back in 1 second, and RSG is already in track to try and contest the Lord. TODAK, do they want to force the fight? Seems like they are going to try to take an issue. Count Altar between both the tank and the mage, but they don't have the damage. But here comes Lingaza. He goes in for the finish. Yumski needs to make a run for his life, but he's not going to be able to do much. And Lingaza, the backline, two-shot Momo, and Lingaza is finally taken out, but at what cost? The rest of TODAK are down. Formace left alive. He's getting completely kited, and look at RSG. They don't care about him. Lolios is just going for the throne. Formace doing what he can, but he cannot do anything as Loleo takes the crystal for RSGMY.
That's game 1 for RSGMY. What a game that was. A good idea. I definitely think it was a very good idea. The way they played the early to mid is the most optimal way you can do it, right? You can't team fight, therefore you start pushing, pulling on the other sides of the map. But let's see in this upcoming drafting phase, I'm guessing that TODAK is going to ban out Farmis or maybe hold it up for themselves. It'd be very exciting to see how Yums is going to utilize it. He might use it more aggressively. He might not. Hard to tell with TODAK. They're always that flip and flop.
Yeah, I feel like in game numbers draft, they ban off the Valentina just because that they are afraid that it might get stolen, right? In this case, they have the option to just first pick Valentina, which is something that TODAK is very comfortable with. And knowing TODAK, they do have the I would say, the mentality to try and challenge the same composition, right? They will let it through potentially and try and beat it in game number 2. And this time, do they want to take those risks? But it seems like they are going to ban a Karina, potentially still letting the Farmis through to try and, I would say, challenge the boundaries of what Farmis brings to the table.
Well, personally, based on how a lot of MPL MY teams behave, usually, if they pick something that they think is really, really powerful, they usually ban it out for them, ban it out on their side. So again, I'm thinking 1-1. They've already banned out the Akai. I'm guessing they're going to ban Farmis right at the very end. But TODAK, they've got to consider a couple of options here, right? If they cannot just let Valentina through, there's just no real world where that is going to be a good idea. Because even though if you take Farmis for yourself and your opponent gets Valentina, may not necessarily come up with the same results. Yes, you can steal the Cult Altar, but there's a lot more flexibility because Valentina's ultimate is so much shorter. So you can affect lanes, you can look to dish out more damage, you scale towards the later stages of the game, you have extra mobility with 2 dashes. There's so much that Valentina provides and why she has a 100% win rate.
Yep, 15 seconds on the side, on the timer now. TODAK, they've got to make a decision. Do they want to let it slide? It seems like yes, they might be just letting it slide and let RSGMY decide. So they are going to be banning the Fanny against RSGMY. So it seems like it might actually happen. They're pushing the boundaries, and RSG, do they just ban the Valentina or the Faramis altogether? Because right now it is going to be a very, very difficult situation where they are put in a very difficult spot.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer here. You get rid of the Valentina. No matter what, it's a lose-lose situation. There's not another priority pick that TODAK cares about more than the Valentina, especially when you have Farmis on the table, right? If there was like another super hyper OP pick like Wanwan, then I think it's okay to say, hey, you can take the Valentina. We don't mind getting Wanwan as well as getting the Farmis. We get a really strong combination. TODAK locking in the Farmis from 29 to 31% off of 1 win coming out from RSGMY. Look at that win rate slowly rising.
It's really disgusting to see how this is such an OP hero, but the win rate says otherwise. And it's understandable considering that the win conditions for a Faramis, it's all about timing. And you mess up the timing, you will mess up your entire composition. And it's all about those setups and follow-ups. So in the right hands, it can be a very, very deadly weapon. In the wrong hands, it can be I would say, a troll hero.
I wouldn't say it's a troll hero. I feel like he's pretty easy to play now that the Cult Altar kind of follows you around. That gives you so much more quality of life. But RSGMY, this is rather interesting. They lock in the Paquito fairly early here, as well as the Beatrix. Beatrix, I get. But HYHY picking up the Paquito into the Esmeralda matchup, he did okay and made only 1 blunder that game in his lane when he got ganked by Moon, which he obviously should have known.
Well, nothing out of the ordinary from RG, but I feel like right now, TODAK is just so much options when it comes to taking advantage of the Faramis, right? I'm a little bit more curious, is Rival still going to be playing the Ling? Because RG, they found a way to deal with it in game number 1. And it seems like TODAK, they're just going to secure Moon's heroes instead.
I think this is totally fine. Lock in the Yve. TODAK...
This is a support Faramis.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any issues with support Faramis. I just don't think it scales as strongly in comparison to Mage Faramis. But hey, you know, to each their own. At the end of the day, it's all about utilizing his abilities right. TODAK, they lock in the Brody here. I'm noticing that a lot of MPL MY players really like the Brody instead of just going for the traditional Popo and Koopa into Beatrix matchup. But RSGMY this time going to deny Ling from Rivals. He's going to be forced to play something else.
Very, very difficult spot as well, because in terms of composition right now, they don't exactly have a very, very tanky composition. Faramis isn't exactly the strong, I would say the tankiest support to play with. Yve as well. Brody forced to usually go for a little bit more defensive maneuver. And against a dive comp coming from RSGMY, if they don't group up, this is not going to be looking good for TODAK. And knowing TODAK in their past few weeks' performance, they have been playing for a split push potential. So I'm a little bit worried. But at the same time, I'm looking forward to see what Rival and Formaze is going to be playing later on.
I'm pretty excited for this. I wouldn't be too surprised if they go for Beatrix in this particular matchup. I do think that RSGMY, it's interesting to see that Paquito is guaranteed going to be in the EXP lane. Yes, it's one quick and easy way to kind of, you know, stop the real world manipulation. But do they want to get the Julian on top of it all, right? Do they want to have Julian in their back pocket? Oh, that's actually a really good ban coming up from RSGMY, banning out the Ruby to stop RSG from actually looking for those big engages.
Yeah, TODAK, they have to ban the Franco at least to try and protect their potential cheese jungler, but at the same time, they're not going to. They're hopping on Brock instead.
Yeah.
Why?
Brock is significantly better. I think that Franco, you can block angles. Franco is very straightforward. You know where he's going to be coming from. You know how exactly he's going to do it. And most of the time, you're waiting for that Iron Hook to go down. With Grok, there is no safety. No matter what, he's got 2 abilities that guarantee stop the real world manipulation, whether it's the knock-up coming in from the Wild Charge, or whether it's the Guardian's Bulwark, the Guardian's Barrier coming out from Grok. Both will disposition you.
Yeah, speaking of disposition, Atlas can do
Smart.
exactly the same and even better just because of how annoying the passive frost comes in along with the Fatal Links. This is actually going to be very, very difficult when it comes to TODAK split, going for split push potential. But when it comes to team fights, this is where I feel like TODAK has a little bit more advantage when it comes to taking advantage of Countdown. But this is something that I talked about before, right? You time it wrongly, you can mess up the combos, and Real Illumination with the Countdown can actually cancel off the Countdown, the Real Illumination if the temp HP gets taken out. So this is risky.
I don't think it's risky because the range from real world manipulation, you don't necessarily have to be in the call altar. Yeah. Exactly, right? You don't need to be there. You just need to have it in its area of effect and then walk into it when you're in trouble, right? Rival going to be going on the Balmond here, very straightforward here. He wants to go and fight for these neutral objectives, and he doesn't really want to just get one shot by Ling, so I think this is a decent pick overall. The Cho pick coming in from Formace, this is going to be really important here because he's going to be looking for big kicks on Ling specifically, and as well as Lolios on that Beatrix. RSG MY now looking for a mage. They need something that kind of scales, right? Lilia is really good for these situations. Wombo combos really nicely with the Atlas. Loyi also pretty cool too. Xavier also pretty good pick, but I think Lydia ramps up with the highest DPS amongst the two of them.
Yeah,
amongst the 3 picks.
Yeah, I'm really surprised Xavier just completely being ignored, even though he has been nerfed a little bit.
I don't think it's just a little bit here. I think it's enough to put you off. Like, if people are walking away with at least 10% of their HP, that's when you know, like, man, those nerfs, ooh, that kind of blows.
Well, the crowds are chanting RSG. They're hoping for the clean 2-0 against TODAK. The crowd is just absolutely crazy. You can hear the energy coming from them. But the drafts has been set. Hopefully, they are going to be able to get the 2-0. However, TODAK, they've got a lot to prove themselves because with the Balmond jungler, are they going to be able to efficiently take down those objectives?
Well, let's find out here in game number 2. TODAK with a composition looking to play for their exact style. They like that curve, they like to go wide, and they like to scale. However, RSG, on the other hand, it's all about that big wombo combo. How they've turned the tables here as we jump into the land of dawn.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be game 2 between TODAK versus RSG. TODAK going to be adapting to the composition, and so far, even though Faramis doesn't have a high win rate, but RSG has just shown them why it deserves its, I would say, stats a little bit better, wrongly,
Prestige,
I would say. Prestige,
stature, pedigree. Come on, I can do this all day. pick your synonym. I got them all.
Yeah, it's just a little bit weird, you know, if you think about how sad that Faramis that's that low, but so far most of the win rates are from a Faramis on the mage role instead of support. So hopefully TODAK does have something in hands because for Maze taking a little bit too much damage, trying to cut the creep waves, and he's gonna be able to escape.
No, he's not. He's trying to. Oh, he's playing this perfectly. For Maze, the movements hopping back and forth through the turtle pit. Nicely done. A good escape coming in from Formaze here, wasting a lot of time for the side of RSG. This does allow Izanami to lose a little bit of EXP, a potential punish here as Moon's getting some good damage. However, it's going to be Link Asa looking to punish the mid lane once again. He sees what's going on, and Shadow Stampede is going to pull them backwards, but not enough to put them in range for Rival to kill them. And however, right here, Hawk able to flicker just in time.
Oh, you hate to see it. He had to go for it. Regardless, he had to go for it.
I think this is good. Regardless, it's good. I mean, Turtle may be coming up in about 5 seconds or so, but Balmond can play this nice and slow until he gets the lethal counter back up. HY, and Linkeza once again trying to mess a lot. Oh, wait, Formaze actually decides to take the way of the dragon onto HY to buy an extra little bit of time for Balmond to speedily try and steal this away. He does have the Demon Slayer, so this should be more than enough. He already has his lethal counter, guaranteeing the Turtle for the first objective.
Yep, objective driven coming from TODAK. They've got the turtle. They are going to be able to snowball a little bit. So I like the idea that, like you said, as well, Formaze is understanding that he needs to make a lot of space. He's kind of like the flashy playmaker, and we've seen so much flashiness in just game number 2 compared to his previous game where he was just forced to sit idly and do absolutely nothing. And it's just so annoying to see that Formaze isn't able to be able to use his toolkit to be the annoying Esmeralda from game number 1, but this game, he definitely can do exactly that.
I don't know, maybe if he was playing Utah. Oh, that's unfortunate. Rival did miss out on that Lethal Wanderer, but Izanami feeling the pressure as he's lost a little bit of EXP. Linkeza going to power farm for now, but how are they going to affect the top side of the map? Because Brody actually losing a couple of trades against Loliels previously. He's a little bit behind, but Yumski, he face checks the brush using a Shadow Stampede. Very smart. Spots out the rest of the RSG members as we see both EXP rotating towards the mid lane, knowing this could potentially be a big fight.
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit of a slow start coming from RSG. They don't need to take all this kind of necessary risk, right? They've got a link. They can go for this kind of split push pressure. Whereas TODAK, they have to completely take a team fight. And Lolios getting pulled back, but they just don't have the follow to do so. But it seems like TODAK, they want to go for it. The chop comes in, but a little counter misses by an edge. And now he's going to get pulled back. And RSG, they have to take a run for this. The count out that comes in, and RSG doesn't have the damage to turn the tides against this fight.
Nicely played by RSGMY. Hawk blocking the dash coming in from Rival. Lolios able to tactically roll just out of the range of the lethal counter. Knowing that Moon was going to drop down the real world manipulation, you saw fast rotates coming in from Izanami and as well as Linkeza to push them back. They do end up losing a top tier 1, but it's better than losing Loliels because they can still trade with this Turtle. Formaze is nearby. He's looking for a kick on towards HY side. He does find the kick. Turtle is gone, but they are going to sacrifice HY in return. So that's going to be first blood achieved by TODAK.
Yeah, nicely done coming from Formaze as well to extend the way of the dragon, prolonging the stun just enough to get a pick-off kill for TODAK. So that is huge and important for Rival, considering that he has been struggling to find all these kills, which may have been gotten him the kill, but it's just a little bit too hard. Like I said as well, the lethal counter is going to be great, but the rotations and the defense coming from RSGMY of trading bodies or making sacrifice of plays to deny him those kills is actually helping them win or survive against the Cloud Altar. But objective-wise, TODAK is still winning economy though.
Interestingly enough, they're sacrificing farm from the jungler side to give to Loliels. I guess they want Loliels to speed up in terms of how fast he gets to that later stage of the game. Right now, Loliels at 33.5k compared to Momo's 3.7k, but Loliels is catching up fast. So now, if they get a turret back, they're going to start evening the skill. With TODAK at a 1.6, 1.9, well, it's still changing pretty effortlessly here. 1.7k gold lead. RSGMY look to take top tier 1. However, bot side getting attacked pretty heavily here.
Yep, and top side as well. Formaze in a little bit trick position. He needs to buy a little bit more time, and somehow RSG, they need this kill, but Formaze is able to completely out-juke them, and RSG wasted a lot of precious time, but they're not going to get anything now. TODAK, they want to re-engage, and RSG is caught in a very, very awkward position to fight this Hawk. Gets kicked from the back, and the real woman comes in. The lethal counter dodge coming from Hawk is going to keep him alive, and TODAK, they do not have any more tools. In RSG, they get the full disengage, but they will lose the tier 1 down mid.
Yep, let's not forget that RSGMY is very ultimate dependent. TODAK really taking advantage of these timings, already taking tier 2s here. They should be able to get bottom tier 2 as well. Cracking open mid tier 1 is going to be huge as TODAK now have the space to work with and can start invading the enemy jungle and especially denying Linkeza that purple buff. Rival going to be easily taking away The turtle here. Ooh.
It was close.
I thought he was gonna. I thought Farmers was gonna get a kickoff on Link A's. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie.
I was hoping that actually happened, but at the same time, Formace is going for a tanky choke playstyle. He's more like a space creator now, trying to punish RSGMY's rotation rather than the traditional damage, I would say, side lane choke. In this case, it feels like he has just more room with to just make a lot of space for the team. And RGMY, they can't cope with all this tankiness that TODAK is just bringing to the table. And they need to find a way to have a little bit more damage. Like you said as well, Low Leos needs to power farm, but to what extent can he burst him out? Because right now, TODAK, they cut him off the rotation. Low Leos gets a free shot in. The count outer comes in. They're still relatively healthy, but they isolated all Low Leos. But Formace has to back up because the rest of TODAK, they don't seem to have the damage. Rival comes in. They will finally take him out. They will clean out. And Link Aza left alone, and he's gonna run for his life.
Momo playing that absolutely perfectly, able to chunk out some good members for Die Down as TODAK going to be cleanly taking away this game. Link Aza needs to start scraping gold on the side, but Formace already there to try and deny any sort of attempt to find leaks and going wide to their comp. They get good kick. It's under the turret. Link Aza's in trouble. He doesn't have enough. Does he have enough energy to finish points out of there? I think he does now. He does now, but Formace is going to chase. And by that time, here we go. Shadow Stampede coming in from Yumski. Link Aza, no purple buff. He's running out of time. 3 more seconds until he can jump again. 2, 1. He has to jump away. They're buying time for him. As on the bottom side, they do take out Momo for the side of RSGMY. Link Aza is dancing around them, and TODAK finally give up on the chase.
Yeah, that was too close to be called comfort, but at the same time, TODAK, they gave up so much pressure down bottom, so that's gonna give a little bit more economy swing towards RSGMY, but the top lord is gonna be up on the side, so RSG, they need to find a pickoff, especially for Lolios. He's got the Wesker available, but I don't think it's going to be enough to one-shot Formace. And TODAK, they know, they see this reaction. They want to force a fight. Hawk now going to be trapped in the position where he is going to get picked off, and there's nothing he can do about it.
Yep, truly couldn't do much about it, but the rest of the members of RSGMY looking to try out of there as they get pulled in. Lolios, unfortunately, gets caught in. The call Altar ensures that nobody else will get hurt as TODAK now, with 2 picks on their side, can look to start this Lord.
Yeah, great adaptation so far coming from TODAK, taking advantage of the counter. But Moon, he doesn't die now. HY again, down towards the last HP. Will he die? Oh, he survives. Link Aza, he gets the kill on Moon, and HY will live to tell another day. But Rivals making quick work on the Lord.
That's so unlucky. That's so very unlucky. HY ends up surviving with just 1 sliver of HP. Unfortunately for Link Aza, they weren't able to get the bottom tier 2, but now with this Lord crashing, hopefully we'll see what TODAK can do with their 4.7k lead.
Yeah, this is something that they can do a little bit more, but like you said as well, it's all about those peeling composition. Brody does exactly so much, and maybe even better when it comes to poking, whereas compared to Beatrix, where if you go all in, there's not really much poke that you can ask for except for those snipes. But with the Lord coming in, TODAK, they've got all the time in the world, and here comes the Fatal Links. They pull in Formace, Countdown keeps him alive, but he will eventually fall. TODAK, they are forced to retreat with the Robo Nation. They will settle with the tier 3. Nope, not even getting it. That's going to be a little bit unfortunate. And now Link Aza is going to try and clean out the rest of TODAK.
It's looking good so far. Moon trying to use his movement, but Rival finds a flank onto Izanami. He ends up dying. He doesn't have his black shoes, and that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. RSGMY might be losing out a little bit here. Rival's a little tanky. Hawk once again to the middle of the fight, but doesn't have his ultimate just yet. It's going to be up to HY to play it slow, but Loliel's great snipe takes away the orange buff.
Yeah, that was huge. This is going to help him a little bit more when it comes to defense, but TODAK, they might have messed up a little bit more, but the enhanced minions are still pushing in, so they are going to clear up all the outer turrets, while Link Aza has been split pushing throughout the entirety fight to try and keep the match alive as long as they can, to try and make and punish the mistakes of TODAK. And Link Aza, if he gets pulled out and TODAK makes a quick jump on it, he might be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I think I think TODAK have more than enough damage to do that, right? And I think that RSG MY, again, they have to be very conservative of their ultimates because TODAK can play really, really slow and wait for RSG to respond. Menace Rage already coming up. Formaze looking for a kick onto anybody. Real World Manipulation is going to zone the rest away, maybe forcing Lolios to get out of there, but Hawk, he's so low. Torn Apart Memories come out, but nobody is dead just yet. Izanami is low! He doesn't want to die to the burn, and the Genius one has to take the black shoes back. Link Eza now sees an opportunity. He could look to get into the middle of that fight, but Formaze, it's too risky. RSG back off.
Yep. And Yumski now buying a little bit more time. He still has the hook, but Fatal has been expended. That's not exactly what you want for. And counter altar comes in. HY gets kicked in, and Momo will get the kill. The Wesker comes in, coming from Leos, but he's trying as much to try and take down Formaze, but Rival comes from behind. They flank on towards RSG, and Link Aza getting taken out is not going to help them off. The rest of RSG, they have to make a run for this, and Rival slowly peeling them away, but will force to retreat this fight.
3 more seconds until the Luminous Lord. And now with this upgrade here, RSG MY unfortunately aren't in a position to take this fight away. Every single time they jump in, Yumski drops the call Altar. There's just so much temp HP to cut through. And even with a good combo, it's still difficult when you're under fire from above with this real world manipulation.
Yeah, it is so annoying. Moon is just doing so much work for the team in terms of utilitarian, and he doesn't actually do too much. He doesn't have a lot of kills, but he's doing so much when it comes to all these massive team fights, right? RGMY, as long as Lolios doesn't get focused on, he's going to be able to do a decent amount of damage. But to what extent? That's going to be my question. To what extent? Because now, they don't exactly have an answer against rivals. And he's gotten to the stage where he's so tanky, and Lolios doesn't have a Demon Hunter Sword or anything that can actually chunk through his tick HP as of yet.
I mean, the only way that they're going to be able to do that is actually get that catch onto Momo, right? I mean, he's dishing out a lot of damage. If they can cancel Moon's real world manipulation at the same time, that would be ideal. But here we go. This might be the final battle here as TODAK slowly walk up. Yumski just holding his distance. Conceal being used by Hawk here. That's second inhibitor already going down as TODAK playing extremely disciplined, not looking for any engages, waiting for RSG MY to make that first move. But at what cost? As they've already taken 2 inhibitors and they're looking for a third one. If they get this, RSG MY are in a lot of trouble whether they actually win or lose that fight. Real world manipulation already comes out. Fatal Link catches 3, but the call Altar comes out just in time. The back line's in trouble, and Lolios should be dead here. Does he make it out? Lethal counter supports that kill, and it's going to be the inhibitor next that falls. Bladed Tempest is already out. The kick from Formaze buys some time on towards it, but it's too late. Inhibitors are down, Crystal down, and TODAK seal this game 1-1.
Great response coming in from TODAK. What a performance coming from rivals on this Balmond. Super tanky.
Works, you keep on doing it. Game number 2, that's the sentiment that they had. Coming to game number 3 after the failure in game number 2, does this mean that they're leaning more towards something along the lines of Esmeralda, maybe even Glue, for the side of RSG? We don't know whether Iris has increased this hero pool to be able to play Benedetta, if he's going to be playing Thamos as well. Both picks of which we haven't seen just yet.
Yeah, maybe even the Ruby as well. Which I think
Ruby, yeah.
Over the seasons as well, Iris has been playing a lot of Ruby. So it's something that can completely mess up TODAK's composition. But now, talking about the Bears face pads as well, RSG going for the second pick instead of the first pick. So interesting. Not expecting this, but all right. It seems like RSGMY, they've got to make the decision right now. Farum is banned or no Farum is banned.
I think
they've got to, right?
It's tough. It's a tough call. It's a tough call.
Ban the Farum is, ban Valentina.
I mean, Valentina's already gone, right? So Wan as a second ban coming in for RSG MY, totally understandable. I think they're going to utilize this time to really talk about that third pick or whether or not they're going to start flexing things around. However, the one thing we didn't really get to talk about is the performance of Hawk so far. Like, Hawk has been doing really well for RSG MY. Like, he's been hitting the iron hooks. He's been playing as a really good support at controlling space so far, and especially when you're up against someone like Yums, who is like, again, he likes to be in your face. Yums still has that style similar to Zorn, where he likes to kind of taunt you into baiting you into some bad moves, but Yumski has an entire team behind him understanding of the situation.
No, I now that you bring that up as well, I really like how Hawk is unfazed in this kind of tauntings, right?
Right?
He just does his role as what he's required to do. And on top of it all, he was able to bait out multiple times, especially in game number 2 against the Lido counter. It was pretty sick. Not gonna lie, it was pretty sick.
I thought it was pretty good too. Now, we do see the Farmers ban coming out from RSGMY, but TODAK, they respond by banning out the Fanny. Fair enough, but the question still remains. Juan, big question mark here. RSGMY, just ban it out. Don't give it over to TODAK.
Yeah, you don't. You just don't. Yeah, okay. Makes a lot of sense, right? So now, by banning off all the traditional meta bans, what slipped through? Arkai, compared to 2 games in a row, was completely ignored. Julian up for grabs, Yves as well is something that TODAK really likes to rely on, and I think game 1 in terms of the drafts here, TODAK, they let Moom's hero pool slid into the second phase bans where the Yves was banned off from RSGMY.
Yep.
Game 2, they picked it up in first phase rotation. Now, in game number 3, even though Moon was the MVP for game number 2, they first picked. Nope. Seems like they are going to prioritize the Arkai instead.
Man, I was going based on the previous selection patterns from TODAK in week number 1, where even when Akai was open, they're like, nope, I'm going to go with Ling. That's totally fine with me. But RSGMY, they have some very clear counters here, right? If you see the Akai, most of the time teams like to go for the Diggy within the first rotation. They do lock in the Beatrix. I think that's a very safe option. Yves, actually the pick for RSGMY. Does TODAK want to take Diggy as a way of denial, or do they say, we'll leave it up to you, we generally don't care? That's totally fine with us. Are we looking for a mage of our own, or are we going to flex pick?
I think this is a pretty good pick with the Yves, but at the same time, TODAK isn't exactly worried about this. You've got this Arkai Hurricane Dance, which can kind of just completely knock him out later on. But what's really surprising for me is that based on the stats on Beatrix, he has been picked more than 30 times, but only has a 32% win rate so far in the regular season. And it's kind of concerning, even though Beatrix was very popular in previous seasons, even now as well, I feel like its toolkit is at a stage where people are very comfortable on how to deal with Beatrix now. And the Yujong up on 4 base for TODAK is gonna be extremely annoying. This is very chaotic. Do we see a Diggy pick up right from the get-go for RSG?
No. TODAK is going to beg the question to RSGMY. Hey, you got to give up your support here. Give up your support. Throw in that Diggy. We know what you want to do, but we have multiple ways of stopping that real-world manipulation. And if you decide to fight, we need a way to disengage, which TODAK absolutely can do. But at the very least, with the Black Dragon form, it's a guaranteed way to kind of limit the space that they have. Instead, RSGMY still using Paquito as that flex once again. Now,
not a big fan. Not a big fan. I was hoping they just pick up the Diggy right here, right now.
Well, I honestly think this is not too bad. At the end of the day, it's not too bad. The real-world manipulation may not necessarily go through, but let's see how the second phase is going to go. I expect RSGMY not to ban out Diggy, and it's up to TODAK whether or not they want to get rid of it. However, RSG now shifting the attention down into the gold lane. They get rid of the Claude. I wouldn't be too surprised if they get rid of the Brody as well. Arguably even the Popon Koopa, but I'm not too worried about it because Momo, he plays Irithel. If he really doesn't have anything to play, he still has Mia. So he's got everything in his arsenal.
True, he does have a huge variety of hero pool when it comes to marksman, but the question remains for me right now is this Arkai a jungle Arkai, or is it going to be a roam Arkai?
Possibly, it's still a flex pick considering everything, so let's see what TODAK wants to do. Ling is still technically up here. Atlas gets banned out for the side of TODAK, and I mean, Hawk, he played a strong game in game number 2, but it just wasn't enough when you have the call Altar. TODAK respecting it, banned it out. RSGMY now looking to respond.
But that's the question right now. If they pick the Diggy from side RSGMY up on Hawk, how is Leo's going to be fitting in the picture when it comes to XP? He needs a very beefy XP lane that can actually win his matchup against a Yujong. So would you say that banning the Esmeralda from the side of TODAK would be a safer choice, or maybe even a Thamus to a certain degree?
No. For the side of TODAK, I thought you were talking about RSGMY. I don't think
Or are they
it
just going to
matters.
double down on the Paquito XP against a Yujong matchup?
I think they might double down on it. However, I think TODAK is probably going to lean more towards, okay, we see the mage, we see the gold laner, we see a possible flex pick here. I think we just make sure that the supports aren't going to make a difference. So it's either they ban out the Diggy, and I would make an argument that there is going to be a Lolita ban as well.
they're not looking to ban the Diggies because it seems like they are on the mage tab. The Julian is going to be up for grabs, so it seems like they just don't want to take the Julian. Or
No,
I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Exactly. It just
There we go.
Okay, okay.
See, they're hovering over it.
Okay.
Give
But,
it to
but
us.
it's still tanks. It's not Diggy. It's Franco. Okay.
I don't mind the Franco too much because at the end of the day, the Bloody Hunt is pretty annoying.
Okay. You know what? You know what's actually missing from the pool? Link completely ignored. So I feel like TODAK is leaning on towards rival playing the Link again.
For sure.
And putting Yumski on the Akai. So maybe that's going to be their game plan. They don't really care about the Diggy because if they go for a Diggy, we can just completely ignore the team fights and just go for split push potential. So
yeah.
That's going to be, I think, the game plan coming from TODAK.
I think that's totally fine here. If they want to go
Natalia.
for pseudo, Natalia is also a really good shout here for RSG MY. Just the smoke screen silence alone is rather annoying to deal with. They're hovering over a lot of different options, and I think right now, considering what their past 2 games, how they've been drafting, they usually pick the jungle here to kind of reveal the composition. Unless they're going to double flex this somehow, I'm not entirely sure how they're going to do it. They could lock in the Thamos and kind of give an indication.
Oh no, oh
Okay.
no.
They're going to go for the safe option.
Click it, click it, click it. Let's go.
All right, so Diggy gets locked in here for RSG MY. They don't want to take any chances against TODAK.
Yeah, I definitely like this. This is going to help them a little bit more when it comes to the team fight potential. Securing the real world motivation is going to be important as well. Dealing with the Hurricane Dance as well as the Black Dragon. But the question remains, are we going to see double purifies from RGMY, or are we going to see sprints to pair it up with the time journey to get a little bit aggressive? Because as of yet, they're playing very defensively around the Yeef Calm from RGMY. But when it comes to dive potential, they have to rely a lot on Iris making up those plays. So the question here, Link Aza, what is he going to play?
Link Aza most likely is going to play the Paquito. It doesn't make sense to play Paquito in this particular situation. Natalia as well as Popo and Koopa coming out from TODAK's side. I respect that a lot because Natalia can farm really, really hard here. Now, I don't know whether this is going to be a Natalia jungle like we saw yesterday on Friday for week 3, day number 1.
It's really risky. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it's
very
really risky. And we've seen, I think yesterday's game, Adin brought up a very, very good point. Multiple times, he could have gotten the kill if he had execute.
Right? That's the thing about Natalia. Like, Natalia is very similar to Guinevere as well.
Yeah.
Both of them struggle to get that last bit of damage to, like, kill them off. And that's why people like to take execute. But the Popo and Koopa, very respectable. Let's see this final pick coming in from RSG MY. Last 6 seconds here. We're seeing Assassins, possibly. Are they going to go for it? Nope. Julian is going to be the lock-in here. Who is the jungle? Is it Julian or is it
I think it's
Paquito? They're switching around. Wait for it. Yeah, there we go. Julian jungle.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Julian jungle for sure. There's not much option there. Iris is just too comfortable on the Paquito and something that RGMY can't play around it. TODAK, however, is going to be playing the support Natalia for TODAK. So I'm liking this a little bit more compared to the jungle Natalia. So adaptations has to be made from both sides, and it seems like this is going to be the decider match. Both have very, very clear win conditions to come up on top. This is as close as it gets, Gideon.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of a repeat of game number 1 without such OP ultimates. You can hear the chanting. It's the energy is alive. It's electric here. Yeah, Quill City Mall. Let's get into it. It's game number 3. Both compositions want to team fight their hearts out. It's all about brawling. It's all about blood. Most importantly, these lane matchups, they cannot afford to give first blood. It's time to roll into the land of Dawn to find out which team is going to achieve this at match point. Game number 3 on its way.
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be TODAK versus RSG game number 3. And the crowd here is absolutely crazy. And I'm not going to lie, this doesn't feel like an MPL tournament right now. This feels like a concert vibe, my friend.
I don't know. It's definitely not a Billie Eilish concert, that's for sure. People can at least see the stage. Now, jumping back into this game. Way too relatable for Malaysians out there. I'm so sorry for anybody who had to deal with that. Anyways, coming down on towards the bottom side of the map, Yumski already looking to make sure that Iris is punished. And I think Yumski plays a very vital role here into skewing the lane matchups because they're very volatile matchups on top side as well as bottom side.
Did you just Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it there. But as
Hey, good vibes, man. Good vibes.
good vibes indeed. But Yumski's now, he's gonna be rotating it around. He's gonna be
Just
looking around for the kill.
Just straight up kill Hawk Yumski.
Really?
I don't think he's gonna do it just yet, but oh, the chains hit both. That's such unlucky timing. Yumski was about to jump in on it. They do reveal his position, so it's gonna be no first blood just yet, but neutral objective Lethal Wanderer does fall into the hands of TODAK.
You know, it feels like getting a kill on Hawks right now, it doesn't bring too much value, right? It's only level 1, level 2. Even if you got a kill, he's going to be back up in what, 2 to 3, 4, 5 seconds? And
Oh, for sure.
In this case, it's like, oh, you're going to be risking your life for him to come back and potentially get a return kill on you.
Oh!
It's a little bit risky, but for Maze, he gets the combo in, and Iris taking a little bit too much damage.
Look at the dive.
Yuki not going to be able to get damage as well. Rival gets the Hurricane Spin on and is hit as well.
Oh,
That's
no!
a heavy sin, and Iris will eventually take it out.
No, that's so unfortunate, but the top side also gets dove at the same time. Momo in a lot of trouble here. Can he make it out just in time? No, they trade 1 for 1. First blood achieved on bot side, but they do take a gold later. Way more worth it for the side of RSG MY. But TODAK gonna pose the question, we're gonna take Turtle. Are you gonna make it here in time? No. RSG MY playing for Loliels.
Yeah, this is huge coming in from RSGMY. They've got the full gold plating up on Leo, so he's going to be a little bit ahead as contrast to Momo, who's not even level 4 in the upper lane. So this is going to be a very, very risky situation. TODAK right now, they need Yumski to make something happen. And unfortunately to say, the bottom dive was a little bit too risky to be called comfort.
Well, honestly, I think it was not bad. However, I'm surprised that Iris opted to go for double heavy strike instead of just going for the knockout punch when he got that level 4. And I think that was like a really interesting decision. I didn't expect the damage reduction and that shield that he gets from the empowered version to actually hold off as long as it did. But I think he might have been able to get a kill had he gone for either double jab or possibly even an empowered KO strike.
Well, sometimes things a little bit chaotic. It's hard to go for the quick finger swap, especially leveling up the skill. So might be a little bit misplayed there, but Momo is going to get caught off. But with the shields coming in, he's going to be A-okay. Rival saves the day, but the real world manipulation will finish Momo off. So no follow-up coming from TODAK. Moon is going to be here in the vicinity to try and burst them down, but the sprints are coming in. Izanami is going to get caught out with the last auto attack from Yumski is going to take him out. So RSG in a very awkward position. The time journey comes in, keep Leos alive, but TODAK can't seem to go in for the finish, but Yumski is lurking, he's waiting for the right opportunity, and he's got information on Leos, but he doesn't want to take the risk because Iris is pressuring the mid lane, and TODAK does not want to lose mid control.
Yeah, Iris does notice that Yumski is relatively nearby. However, the lane swap coming... Oh, that's a good play coming in from TODAK. Momo gets locked down on towards him, but double heavy strike is going to keep him alive for now. Iris flickers out of the way. Moon is here to save the day. Double KO strike to buy some time, but it's too late. There is small calculation coming in from TODAK. Paid off big time.
Big win coming from Momo. This is exactly the kills and the goal that he needs. And I like that Momo has finally decided to go for the lane swap just because of why the turtle's up top. He needs to build his economy, and this is going to help them a little bit better. And TODAK, they're trying to potentially contest the turtle, but it's a little bit too late because the rest of RSG is already up top.
This is such a smart move coming in from TODAK. Expected at potential M4 representatives, M3, M2, and M1 representatives. The experience is there. Not a lot of teams would have made that move, and you can tell by the gold lead itself coming in from TODAK that it was worth every penny here to allow Momo to catch back up and not fall too far behind in this game. Yumski once again on top of Iris, getting the silence real quickly. Yumski, oh no! He went a little too far! Momo wasn't able to get the I'm angry off onto Iris in time to save his life.
Oh, that's just a little bit unfortunate because you can see that Yumski wants to bully Iris out so that Momo can take the tier 2, but I would say that was a risky, very risky gamble to try and make it happen. But the top side, they do get a kill on 4 Maze. Leo's power farming his way through on this mid streak. So TODAK is just struggling to make the plays. That Rivals going from the sides. They are going to try to bait the time journey out, but I don't think they can go for it. Yumski's on the sides. They do a little bit of poke, but they do bait it out. Rivals still has the heavy spin. Are they going to go for it? No!
He He doesn't find the angle, but the trade coming in from Moon is going to be more than enough. Yumski wants Hawk. He's going to get Hawk. Gets pulled back by the reversing time. Izanami might be dead here, but Yums able to die. Izanami finds the rift just perfectly laid out.
Oh, wow, that was a big clutch coming from RSG. Especially with Hawk as well, because the time reversal completely messed up Yum's combo to get the kill on Izanami, and Izanami was able to find that one pixel to actually capitalize and return the favor. So that was huge. That was huge.
Wait, I mean, despite everything that's happening here, RSG now take the gold lead, but Formace is 2 levels behind Iris. What happened there? Formace dying one time costed him a lot of EXP, and Iris being able to get a kill for himself and 2 full waves, putting him ahead. That's going to be a little bad for Formace here, because now he's going to be a threat. Moon trying to get out of there, using some good movement here, but unfortunately, Rival is the one who's going to be able to pick up this turtle. RSG miss out on a neutral objective and a kill.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Iris was able to get his to a double level was because of the bottom lane push where Momo was, right? He got that solo kill onto its Yumski, and also got a 2 creep waves worth of XP. So it makes a lot of sense. And you can see that Formace is just struggling to set up this kind of plays, and Moon taking a big snipe on his face, and he might actually die, but from the behinds, and they go in for the flank. Time Journey has been expended, but they do get the pick off on towards Yumsi. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but at the expense of Leo's TODAK, they're just diving him like crazy, and RSG can't do anything to retaliate.
Oh my god, can we get an instant replay? The fast reactions coming in from Momo to stop Iris from actually getting a fat flank to take out Moon made all the difference in that fight. Really dirty coming in from Momo. Despite dying 3 times this game, he refuses to fall even further behind.
Yep. And as of yet, you can see RSG, they have to back off. Hawk might actually die to Moon. The Shadow Ball, just a little bit too annoying. The Ice Queen's Wand slow with it is just gonna completely slow him down in time. So that's Hawk not gonna be able to fly at all.
Oh, this is a dead even game right now, but Lolios on top of the charts in terms of gold. Unfortunately for Momo, he is 1K behind. And if we're looking at Rival, equal gold to Linkeza right now.
Yeah, the junglers, I feel like both junglers are doing exceptionally well. They're doing as much as they can. But the big question right now is that they need to find a way to punish Lolios a little bit more coming from TODAK. And currently, he's just so far ahead in terms of economy. And look at this. He's just baiting and baiting it all the way through. They bait out the Black Dragon, but for Maze, look at this. He's debating whether or not he wants to try and challenge the shotgun burst coming from Lolios. And he actually backed off. However, Momo trading objectives. He's going to take a tier 3 inhibitor on the bottom side instead, and RSG did not expect that at all.
Well played coming in from TODAK here. Formace using his Black Dragon form to push RSGMY back while the rest of his team looks to get an inhibitor. Moon gets into the middle of the fight trying to bait out as many spells. Black Shoes already being used, but now with no fear and forcing out. Oh my goodness.
Oh no, Rival.
Forcing out the time journey. This is not good. The bottom side is getting closed in. Lolios and Iris are the only ones to defend as the real world manipulation comes out. Formace ends up dying, and Rival, he doesn't have his all the heavy spin, was not able to pinch Izanami.
Yo, that was so risky. RSG, they were in a position where they could have just died then and there. Fortunately for Izanami, he was able to get a kill on Formace and back out the situation, because as of yet, if TODAK was able to get the flank with Momo in the team fight, that would have been the it for RSGMY. But still, with the cheesy plays coming from TODAK, they are pushing RSG to the limits when it comes to split push and split decision makings all the way throughout the team fights.
Like RSG, they're great at team fighting, don't get me wrong. They're really good at it, but TODAK now being forced into maintaining their lead, forced to play catch up with some of their laners, not exactly in their win conditions, more importantly, not getting enough gold. They have to bring out world-class strats. These cross-map plays coming up from TODAK are really effective when RSG just wants to group up together to get maximum value for the real-world manipulation as well as that time journey. Now, the rest of the team, as we can see, they're doing the exact same thing once again, right? They're threatening Lord, posing those questions, and RSGMY need to clean up their lanes at the same time.
Yeah, TODAK, they're setting up for potentially a cross-map play, right? But at the same time, seeing that Iris is down bottom and the Julian up top, this is a good position for TODAK to actually take them out, because they know RSG is in no position to fight this. Rival still has the heavy spin to zone them out. Meanwhile, 4Maze from the sides is in position to go for the Black Dragon, and they see RSG, but Rival preemptively uses the heavy spin, but looks like they have to reset the Lord and back out, because that's a major spell just getting completely chunked off, and RSG now takes full control of the Lord Pit.
Now they take priority. The priority has passed. The tables have turned, and the weight has shifted on the scale here. However, Moon, he's getting a lot of big damage here. They're so low. They're forced out of time. They're going to rush it. They got the rush. Real One Manipulation comes out, but Yumski finds the kill on towards them. They have to run them now. Iris is pushing them back as much as he can. Hawk finds the kill on one as Link Aza makes it out with the enhanced swords. Not a bad trade here coming out from RSGMY.
Well done to RSGMY. Iris got the big fat KO punch and completely slowed the momentum of TODAK, because if he did not do that, the entire squad of TODAK is going to completely jump on RSGMY. So well done indeed for Iris, and also with the Lord Steel, but Rivals almost getting sniped. Almost getting sniped.
RSGMY is just telling TODAK, back up. Back up! We don't want you getting anywhere close. We're going to force you to recall, go back into your base so we can take these out of turrets and actually get a legitimate lead. But speaking of which, Moon's damage so far, 4-0 and 5, he is not afraid. He knows with the Ice Queen's wand, he can run anybody down with just enough charges. However, they cannot lose too much gold here. RSG will accumulate a lot, and these outer turrets do not stand a chance.
Yeah, we haven't seen too much of Link Aza as well. It's 0-0 and 4, but Julian has been setting up a lot of wombo combos. Real Moonation bait out the black shoe. Iris goes in for the combo. They get the snipe down. That's going to be Moon taken out, and this is great positioning from RSGMY. 4Maze goes for the Black Dragon. 3-man Petrify, but the time journey gets them all out. But TODAK, they're taking a little bit too much damage, and they have to back out. Meanwhile, Lolios is just cheekily chipping away the tier 2s with his extended sniping range.
Yep, Moon sacrifices his life, and 4Maze gets the Black Dragon.
Oh no, Rivals.
Now he's in trouble. The time reversal is coming through. No, Lolios should have gone for the second auto attack. He didn't want to go for it. Rivals so close to dying. Oh my goodness. How much health does he have? Less than 1%.
Oh my goodness. That was so close, but you can see, for TODAK fans, this is very, very hard to actually watch. But the skill cap, the intensity of how this match is actually in between both teams is neck and neck. One wrong move is going to cost them the entire series, and this is going to be hard to watch, but at the same time, RSGMY doing fantastically well on this composition. Now, it's all about the waiting game. Lolios in position, going for a couple of snipes, and it's all up to TODAK to go in for the setup. And Izanami, he gets scouted out by Yumski, and he is going to take him out. And RSG now, with no real-world manipulation, they are going to potentially lose the Lord Pit up top, and Yumski is going to get caught out.
Yep, they take out Iris. Iris is able to take out Yumski in the middle of it. Rival tries to go for a catch, but Iris really too fast with his hands, able to flicker out just in time. But now the enhanced chains coming out, and even the enhanced sword. Beatrix is going to drop down her ult as well. The passion is down, and TODAK looking for angles to get in on this fight to get some more. They know that they're low, but Hawk holding on to his ult. TODAK is just going to back away.
Oh, this is so risky from both sides, because it's 4-for-4 right now, and the Lord just spawned on top side. Meanwhile, TODAK, they're still making a decision whether or not do they want to give the impression that they are at the Lord Pit, or do they want to punish Iris? Because on the bottom side, Momo is going to get caught out, and Iris is going to get taken out just because they need to clear those minions. But Lolios, he goes in for the flicker pump. He gets the trade-off at 4Maze. He's looking to go in for the save. Time Journey keeps him alive, but Lolios, he cannot go down. But 4Maze manages to take him out, and this is huge because 4Maze gets 3 members of RSG down bottom side. Meanwhile, TODAK is looking to take the Lord, but no, Rivals, he doesn't have the damage.
He does not. He cannot solo this Luminous Lord by himself here. RSGMY. Oh my goodness, I was not expecting 4Maze to be able to get that, but he does. 2 kills for each side, trade evenly. And right now, they have to contest this Lord, and Yums is just relaying the information.
Link Aza is going to be coming in. They have to force the fight. Heavy spin still available on 50 Rivals. They're going for the 50-50.
Hold the aggro.
But do they want to go in for the reset? It seems like RSG, they're thinking about it. It is in RSG's favor, but they get the reset in. So playing it safe is going to be the way to go.
Too much housekeeping to actually deal with it. And right now, with the information that Yums is relaying to the rest of the team, now they hold and take priority and take control of this Luminous Lord. They have to gain position here, but he RSG is going to relay the most important information, which is when is Iris going to get into position. So now they're going to do the cross-map play again. They're going to threaten it. They're going to do it slow. As Yooms clears the bot side, the rest of RSG MY slowly doing some housekeeping, and we'll have to go back to keep it up.
Yo, this is hard. This is hard. Like, Yumski is just pressuring the bottom side all the way through. As soon as Iris has shown himself down bottom, you can see TODAK, they're threatening the Lord again. RSG, they have to make something work. And Moon, he's taking a little bit too much damage, but he still has the black shoe. Time Journey comes in, has been expended, but look at this. The Lord is a little bit too low, and it will be secured in the hands of TODAK. Here comes the scuffle.
You have to go right into the middle of the real-world manipulation as Iris looks to get into the back line. They take two out, Rival and Momo. And Moon on the run. They cannot afford to die here. They need to capitalize on this Lord. But with 5 members, can they defend? Moon by himself should be enough. The Luminous Lord comes out with Lord-empowered minions. That's more than enough to shove them away. But RSG wants to take cans, wants to take gold. Rival goes down. Colonials and the inhibitors crack wide open. Two members, they have to hold for 12 seconds. They're rushing it down. They're looking to get
so low.
They can. They've done it. RSG 2-1. Take down TODAK.
A beautiful performance in game number 3 from RSG MY.